So let's talk about Trevor Noah. I decided after I saw a bit in his stand-up about Black Americans that rubbed me the wrong way that I would not be watching him on The Daily Show, but that doesn't mean that I wanted him to fail. And I knew that because he's Black, he'd be held to a higher standard than Jon Stewart. Trevor Noah has had a pretty tough time with it since he's taken over The Daily Show. And it's not just because he's Black, it's because he's just not as incisive as his predecessor. That distance from American geopolitical realities that I'm sure Jon Stewart thought would make Trevor Noah a safe bet actually causes him to take stances that are tone deaf and ahistorical. For example, Noah had conservative commentator Tomi Lahren on his show to discuss the racism that she tries to disguise as a cogent political viewpoint.
When the Black Lives Matter movement is going out with signs saying fry 'em like bacon, F the police, when they're going out saying if you see a white person, target them, that is happening, Trevor. That happened in Milwaukee not too long ago. That is happening. So when that now becomes the narrative and you're starting to loot, burn, and riot, what did the KKK do?
And honestly, the interview didn't bother me that much. It's entertainment. It was all of the follow-up that really rubbed me the wrong way. He wrote an editorial in the New York Times that was, quite frankly, a mess. It started on a bad note. He said liberals criticized him for, quote, not maintaining the minimum acceptable levels of daily evisceration that were established by my predecessor. Boiling down the pushback to the Tomi Lahren situation to a desire for nastiness completely misses how insulted many of us feel when we're asked to engage racism as a valid political viewpoint. Tomi Lahren might have no clue why her equating Black Lives Matter to the KKK is ahistorical and racist, but that's because she doesn't want to know. Yeah, there are people who might be converted through conversation, but racism operates as a complex, deeply entrenched set of systems. It's not just about individuals. Legal scholar Derek Bell already laid this out for us with his theory of interest convergence. There are plenty of incentives for her to remain racist and for those systems to remain in place. Trevor Noah claimed that Americans don't like nuance, but then he went on to demonstrate that he doesn't understand the complexities of American political identity. He made a "we're all the same" argument that really only works if you just got here. In the editorial, he argued that Donald Trump's run obscures the fact that, quote, the vast majority of Americans, both Republican and Democrat, wanted many of the same things: good jobs, decent homes, access to opportunity, and above all, respect. But no one contests whether we all have the same basic needs or desires. The issue at hand is the fundamental difference in belief about how those desires should be met. What we are really fighting over is who deserves protection, access, and opportunity. And to argue that both sides are equal is to say that both sides are equally threatened or threatening. That's not true, because I don't remember a rash of incidents in either 2008 or 2012 where Obama supporters went up to white folks to harass them or attack them, yelling, "I voted for Obama."
You're trash. Because I voted for Trump.
So what?
Trump. You lost.
Why don't you show your face? And I voted for Trump. So there. What, you want to kick me out because that? And look who won. And look who won.
Trump is president, so you can kiss your visa goodbye, scumbag. They'll deport you soon, don't worry, terrorist.
Trump supporters have deputized themselves enforcers of this culture war, and now the rest of us have to live in fear. Progressives saying that they find those actions to be disgusting is not equally bad. In theory, coming to a base level understanding with the right seems like a great idea, but that requires betraying the trust of the people who are most marginalized. We're talking about people who can't leave their identities at the door to come to a compromise. It's morally reprehensible. And I know that if you don't agree with me, then this all feels like grandstanding, but there's no way to get around it if you believe that there is clear right and wrong. I believe with every fiber of my being that discriminating against people of color, LGBT folks, immigrants, that silencing women, abandoning poor folks, that those things are wrong. And as much as I love Dr. King, I don't believe that the arc of the moral universe bends toward justice. If we're going to see progress, we have to fight for it tooth and nail every day. It's not inevitable. And the most laughable part of this whole thing is when Noah says, we can be unwavering in our commitment to racial equality while still breaking bread with the same racist people who've oppressed us. What? Truthfully, what he's describing isn't some noble idealism. It's cowardice. If you have strong principles, stand behind them. Sure, moderation is pragmatic, and I know that my side is going to be doing lots of compromising over the next 4 years. But it's not heroic. I've read a couple of great takes recently about how intractable inequality results in the erosion of the social contract. After a jury failed to convict Michael Slager in the killing of Walter Scott in South Carolina, Elie Mystal wrote at Above the Law, "It's your veneer of civility that is being stripped away. Oppressed people didn't do that. People on the margins didn't break the contract. It's not up to us to fix it." And I'm just so tired of people wagging their finger at us. The people who are victimized daily by systems that threaten to kill us, to tell us that we are being impolite. Absolutely not. No way. So Trevor Noah seems like a nice enough man, but he needs to hush.